Hello, welcome. What would it mean to you if you could have a tip to meet new people? That's the point that we tend to forget. We tend to say, oh, networking. I hate networking. It's always just some social activity and people aren't trying to connect. They just want to try to do business, or they're just there to drink. Well, that is not a good way, right? And it could be as easy as you. One of the things that I have found in networking, I've gone to hundreds of events. Also been in charge of bringing things together and saying, okay, what does it look like? What are the things that we're going to do? What are we trying to achieve? What are we trying to achieve by this event? What are we trying to do with this event? Who are we bringing in? What kind of interaction do we want? What's the food? And then we just kind of let it all happen, and voila, people walk away same as always. Well, there's some purpose to the event, and it's a reason why they're getting there in the first place, and might have a greater theme, but what happens? People go to who they know. A new person walks in the room, and everybody looks. Or they may look over here, or they just might look down, or they might look, why did I come? And what happens? What is the object? What is the result? What is the result? More importantly, what is the result of that interaction? The result is people are looked at, they walk around, and maybe they find somebody to talk with, maybe they don't, and then they move on to the food line. I was at an event. It was a local event for business people to get together, celebrating Small Business Day. And so this was a little bit a while ago. And you walk in the door, there wasn't really any welcoming other than somebody saying, oh, go over to the table, go over to that table over there, and they'll register you. What's your name? Oh, that's an interesting name, Crayon Leadership. What do you do? Okay, so that was, the 30-second. Oh, that's really interesting. You have a card? And then, okay, we got your name, and then you're on your own. No one told me, okay, put your card in at the table. Also, there's a draft, there's a raffle. Is this your first time? Welcome, any type of thing to direct me to what was required next. So I started moving my way down after I figured out to throw my business card in for the raffle, and walked down to some of the booths, and I met the organizer, and she greeted me, and but her big idea, or maybe it was hospitality, she was just trying to be warm and welcoming. She said, go get food. But there were several times during the event that she just said, go get food. We got plenty of food. Eat. And it's like, here's the person that is most in touch with the community and isn't really getting involved, isn't wanting to know more about what I do, isn't want to hear a story. She was more concerned about coordination. Yes, she had an agenda that she needed to get to. It was coming up, I don't know, probably 15, 20 more minutes before they would kick it off. But there were other people there, other leaders, and they weren't quite milling around. They might go to the person they know that they were mentoring, or had brought into the organization, and that was it. But there were a lot of people that walked through that were there for the first time, trying to figure out why they were there. And they made their small talk. Here's an activity. Here's an activity that gets onto the wave. So in our space, we typically have somewhere about 3 to 5 feet around us is an area that we don't like to have intruded upon. It's our barrier. It's our safe zone. It's our comfort zone. The minute somebody steps into that comfort zone, what happens? You react. You say, whoa, whoa, back up, back up. Or you might let them in to shake their hand, right? You'll shake their hand, and then you'll pull it back, and then you'll kind of take a step back to give yourself some room again to put that buffer in. Because nobody wants to have somebody up in their face like this, right? But we create this zone. We create this zone of closeness. And we create this zone of saying, only those that I know I will allow at certain times really close to me. Could be family. It could be, a good friend that you just decide to give them a hug when you greet them. But then there's some expectation, okay, after a while, it's time to let go and push them back out because your comfort zone gets intruded upon. And then we say, go meet people for work or, go prospect or go to this networking event. What happens? We don't want to let people in. We would rather see them way, way, way over there and just say, oh, how you doing? And then go about our own business about eating or, talking with somebody else that we might know that, we're trying to get business from or try to, connect. Maybe it's a team event and they're hanging together with just their friend in the team. And then we walk away and we just kind of go on and say, oh, this was a great event. Oh, Or we might say, well, that was a great event. Good food. Yeah, let's do this sometime again. The moment we hold people beyond our border, if we don't allow them into our space, we lack the opportunity to develop a relationship. We lack the ability to say, you matter. Carl Jung, I found this quote and I like it. It talks about maybe a little more high level and a little bit more for people that really like Carl Jung, but I think it speaks to where we're trying to go here. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Water. Here we go. Water. So we got water. Hydrogen, oxygen, get together. So there's two hydrogens and an oxygen. They all get together. Boom. Water. Two gases become water in liquid state. Ice cubes in a frozen state. Mist in a gaseous state. But they're transformed, they're changed. For us, we're waiting for that other chemical to come in. The one true person that will help us make a difference. At least we think so. We think there's only one other for us, a spouse. There may be, a partner, whatever, business partner, whatever. That one that's going to make a difference, that mentor even. That mentor that will make a difference for us. And what happens? We go and we don't connect. We don't make that that connection, that to allow that reaction to happen, that allow that reaction. What happens here, right? We're creating a reaction. We get a clap. I'm trying to prevent you from getting deafened. But we focus on wanting that relationship, but we don't take a step to set ourselves going into that environment to be open to it. I'm just as guilty of this as some of you. Maybe I'm the only one, but I'll go into a networking event and I will not be prepared for it. Sometimes it's busy. I'm rushing there. I'm trying to find parking, and then I'm there like 3 minutes before the event kicks off, and boom, no time to really connect with people, find a seat, get going because they're starting the event. And I'm just trying to get through the event, and then maybe in the break or afterwards, I can start creating conversations. Smile at the people that invited me. Well, I'm not preparing myself. I'm not opening my space. I still have that, and it may be even crowded and more crowded, right? I'm on this chair and this is all I have because there's a person to this side and a person to that side. And we are, scrunched up because they put 50 people into the space of 25. And our space is invaded. So would it be helpful if you had a tip to meet new people? I'm thinking yes. I'm thinking that you need this. Recent research came out in the business world of what companies will be needing in the next 5 years. That's relationships, number one. They need relationships. They need to have social and emotional skill buildup of people coming into the workforce. The largest component of the workforce is millennials, followed by Gen X, and then baby boomers. So baby boomers are now into the third place in composition of the workforce. And millennials are changing the world, but what happens with millennials? It's TV, it's this little phone thing here. I was just talking with somebody last night at a meeting, and she said, yep, that's my world. If I don't have, my phone, if I don't communicate through my phone, I'm not going to communicate. And yet she's going to college and working on some aspect of biochemistry where she needs to be able to defend her position to get grants, tell her case, be able to sell herself. And the only thing that she knows, no, she doesn't, but in essence, they're more comfortable with the phone, than they're comfortable talking you to me. Or talking to 3 people. Oh, geez. A group of people. Put a person in front of 40 people and watch what happens. They'll either fold in terror, and they'll be, this is great. We always see this in Toastmasters, other organizations, where a person is asked to go and get up in front, standing behind a lectern, and talk to an activity. Maybe you see it as at church too. People that are not accustomed to talking, who don't have that practice, and they're frightened. They're standing there and they're gripping the lectern and then it becomes very uncomfortable, not only for the audience who's trying desperately to connect with this person, but also that person up there. So would this activity help you? Yes. you need it. You need to expand your space. So step one, it only takes a few seconds, but you'll see what it is, and you may want to practice this or go along with me and do this. So sit in your chair, just kind of relax in your chair, cross your arms like this, and just think about a bad experience, an unpleasant experience recently that you had, and how did it make you feel? Maybe it's the robocalls from DirecTV. I'm not picking on DirecTV, but somebody appearing like DirecTV, somebody using their name, somebody, maybe it's, you know, your favorite programmer, you know, some part in society that you got robocalls calling. Hey, maybe it's like all the ads you get about go vote. Here's this position, right? And you just get tired of answering them only to find out it's a robocall. So I'm not picking on any company at all. I'm just saying that we get these calls, and the last thing we want is to hear a pre-formatted ad or a scripted ad, and it just gets us frustrated. Or if you're at the gate at your favorite airline, and they say, sorry, our plane is disabled. We have to wait for the mechanics to come in. We don't know anything, what's going on, when it will be fixed. Please don't come up here. Just sit. And you got to stay here in the gate because you won't hear the announcements when we're ready to go. And you just build up that. Just imagine that time. Sitting there going, ugh. Anything? No. You see some people of importance being at the gate, and maybe no, and you just get frustrated because there's no communication. So think of that experience or anything else that you want, and just sit back in your chair, cross your arms, cross your legs, and just breathe into that. That's your, just breathe, inhale, exhale, just thinking about that experience. Just take a couple breaths. So what do you feel? You feel constricted. You feel tight around yourself. Again, try it. Put yourself in whatever situation it is. Maybe it's just a cold. How bad you feel when you have a cold. So try that, okay? So do that. Write down right after what you felt. Feel what it is that you felt. What are the characteristics? What are the qualities? What happens to your body? Odds are you're going to feel some tightness. You're going to feel that your personal space, your space has now just been focused in on your body, and your world has just shrunk to your body. Okay, now try another one. Sit up in the chair this time. Feet on the ground nicely, your arms in your lap. Just be there. As you breathe in, stay. I seem to be crooked. Maybe my table's crooked. All right. Sit up straight. Have a rigid frame, as my UK friends would say, a rigid frame. When you breathe in, have that up here. When you exhale, just allow the shoulders to relax a little bit, just to droop a little bit. Okay? So when you breathe in, and then let your shoulders drop when you exhale. While you're doing that, think of an experience. So put an experience in your mind of what makes you smile. It could be your favorite ice cream. It could be sitting on the beach and the waves come crashing in, and the birds are singing and the people are frolicking in the surf, and you're enjoying the sun. And instead of I guess we got some birds out there now. We had a lot of rain today, so the birds are finally coming back out. The sun is trying to eke its way out. This is great weather in Florida. First time the sun hasn't really shined into this window and I can see some green out there. That's great. So think about that. Just look at the picture right out here. Just look at this out here and use that as a smiling experience. If you haven't, if this is middle of winter when you see this, or it's right now and it's dark and gloomy in your area, just focus on that. And as you breathe in again, let your frame, your body, upper body get straight, and then just relax your shoulders a little bit. How does that feel? What happened there? Breathe a couple times through that. What does that happen? Your body relaxes a little bit, right? What happened to your space? What happened to the barrier around you? That bubble happened. It kind of opened up just a little bit, didn't it? It opened a little bit further. So here's step 3. If you've got that down path and you feel that, so again, write those qualities down. What did your mind feel? What are you thinking about? What are you feeling? What happens within your body? How does your space feel? I think you're going to feel that openness. So try that, practice that a couple times. Especially if you're going to an event, try this, set it up beforehand. Just set up, you don't have to do the first part, just do the second part. Feel good, walk in with a smile, right? What makes you happy? What is the smiling experience? Let your body feel that. And then wherever you're at, whatever room you're in, even if there are people sitting right next to you, ignore them and just keep breathing until you feel yourself expand to fill the room. Your personal space expand to fill the room. What do you feel about that? What happens then? What does your body feel? Without going into too much, because I want you to feel that. Put some comments out if you would like. That would be great to really, get that perspective of what you're feeling right now. But allow yourself to expand to fill that room. Your personal space becomes the size of the room. What happens then? What do you feel? You may feel some greater openness. You might feel more comfort. You might feel that no matter where you are in that room, you're going to feel your safe zone be the size of that room. What happens if a person comes in? Here's step 4. Allow a person to come into that space. Your space isn't contracting. It's just being there open. Because you already know what happens when you feel in that first step. What happens when somebody enters towards your space, right? So allow your space to remain open. What happens? You're more open. You're feeling more welcoming. You want to know who that person is. And you may feel a wave of fresh air, a fresh start to your day, a fresh start to this moment. You never know what chemical reaction will happen because both will be transformed. You'll be transformed by the stories you hear, and that person will be transformed because they will be welcoming. They'll be welcomed. They'll be opened. They'll feel that you will really want to hear about them. It's a very powerful exercise, and it gets you going towards meeting new people. Because if you're willing to meet new people and hear their story and you're open to it, and then you don't feel that they're invading your personal space because your space is abundantly wide and your space is open to welcoming them, to feeling them, and not making that, like Chinese research has shown us, that 0.02 seconds, that 0.02 seconds where our bodies have already made, our minds have already made an assessment of that person. You will not be doing that. Even though our minds have, you'll still be open to wanting to hear them and welcome them in and get to know them on a deeper basis to build a relationship, because relationships are important. This is not going to be important. This is important to get the job done, but this is not the importance that you need. importance you need is to be able to be around people, to be able to call somebody at 2 a.m. and say, hey, I've had an emergency. Can you help me? Or someone, my partner has been taken ill and they're in the hospital. Can you help me? Can you, come? I need some support. And you're going to be willing to do that. What's the wave? What's the whole wave? The whole wave is, as we talked yesterday, I am what I am because of who we all are. The minute you start putting barriers around and closing the space around you, like we do when we get isolated, where we want to just disconnect. We just want to disconnect. We want to say, no more, no more. I need some time alone. The minute we do that, that's the minute we're putting up a barrier and saying, I need to check out of the tribe. Even if it's only a few seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, I'm checking out of the tribe because I need my space. Your space is to be open. Your space is to be welcoming. Your space is a personification of you wanting someone to come into it, for those chemical substances to meet and come together and be united, to be united and transformed. That's the thought for today. I'm Dutkiewicz. And when we live at the apex, when we live at the top of the mountain, we have that space. If room is too small for you, go and sit on the top of a mountain, stand on top of a mountain, on top of a sand hill, whatever, and look out. The minute you realize that when you get to the top in your life, being able to any point walk out on that ledge and look beyond where you're at is the minute you're open to opportunity, the minute you're open to new things that will enter your life and lift you up. Growth is uphill. Growth is struggle. Growth is meeting new people and building relationships, learning their stories so they can learn yours and becoming a good friend. And both of you lifting your thoughts up to a higher plane than individually. That's what apex thinking is about. Apex living is living at that point every day. I am what I am. I am what I am because of all who we are, of who we all are. Powerful words on a special evening edition. I hope you found value in this. Please leave a comment. Please like, share, pass this on to somebody else that really might need that leg up today. Pass it on to the millennials. They've got a big chore ahead of them because they're going to be integrating people, and they're already into the workforce, managing people or leading people in some way, and they need those skills. They need to be able to be open and not just task oriented. They need to be able to say and lead and creating that high productivity, high positivity environment. That's how teams are going to be higher performing. That is how our companies are going to be higher performing. They need that emotional skill brought in. Be well. Have a happy, new, significant day. Every day is the opportunity to make that pivot and go forward. Live at the point of where you want to be. Live that day to its fullest. Now we have one last thing. We have a program that will help you open up that space, welcome people in, set you in a right frame the right mindset, the right attitude. Yesterday was National Attitude Day. I hope you had a great attitude set for that day. But it's not just one day a year. It's every day, every moment we're asked to set our attitude for that moment. You have a choice, right? You have a choice. freshstart1.eventb.com. Visit that. It's an 8-week study. It's an 8-week sharing experience. We will give you the tools, the keys, the accountability, the opportunity to explore in a community how to build that personal space, how to break down the barriers that are preventing you from opening up. And maybe you don't see that you have barriers, but you're carrying something along, something that is preventing you from being at your best, living at the true apex in your life. I've been there. I can help you. I've helped myself. I've had great mentors along the way. Let me help you funnel the conversation into a working model for you. It's an exciting time. Much has been found in this process, and many people have walked away saying, this is it. I am so glad I went through this program, through this sharing experience, not only to go and do the reading, do some thinking in and writing down some plans and walking through that daily, to persist through, but also to just put on the moment of focus and saying, this is important to me. This is what I want. This is the greatness that I know I'm going to reach. I look forward to tomorrow and the days to come. Please come together. Let's create a conversation. Let's build this tribe to live at the apex and to really, really help you be more. That's my goal. That's my dream, to be able to help you put away all the baggage and unpack your life to live in comfort and joy and gratitude and appreciation, and to live at the top end of that emotional guidance scale. Be well. Talk soon.